Okay, I'm going to talk about deconstructing and reconstructing the archetype we call the empath. So, the empath, see, the thing people don't understand is this is a ranked entity. The empath rank goes like this: first, you're an empath, then, you're a dark empath, and then, you're a Sigma INFJ. That's the rank of the empath. So, an empath is sort of like an open channel, right? So, in order to be a healer, the most important thing is boundaries. So, if you're an empath, or even if you're a schizophrenic, because that's an open channel too, and you are not grounding and you are not controlling your power and your energy, and you're submitting your light to the darkness because you're not grounding, you are a target for archangels right now. Like, if they see you're working towards something, you might be all right. But if you're running around in the darkness and you're in some place you don't have no business, and you run into an earth angel, or you run into one of these high ranked entities, and you're an empath and you're a black hole, and you come up to one of them and you start siphoning energy, you're going to learn the only lesson in life. So, the empath is like this. So the first thing, the most important thing for an empath is to ground. We have to ground like it is the oxygen that we breathe every single day. Because if we don't have our protection, our armor on, then we are absorbing energies of other entities, which is contaminating our energy field. And we're not going to be able to see clearly. So, the way we deconstructed the empath was like this. So, the first thing we had to do was this: we had to figure out where our triggers were. So, a trigger is when you start getting angry, like an emotional charge. Someone is doing something or saying something, and you're giving them an emotional response because of it. They're winning at that point, like, because they're getting the energy that you're giving. We need to regulate our emotions. That's like the main thing with the empath, because if our emotions are not regulated, then we're splashing waves all over the place like this, and anybody's going to get hit, and it's not a good practice. So when we first realized what our triggers were, then we named our triggers. We said, okay, anger. Let's just use that for an example. When I start feeling angry, I recognize that feeling, that emotion, and I just sit with it. I don't act on it. I just sit in that emotion and I walk away. At first, we're going to have to walk away, because once you've walked away enough times, that emotion will stop irritating you to the point where you want to react. And so once we were able to do that, then you start your grounding. You got to start your grounding every single day. And you're going to experience spiritual warfare over this, especially if you're an empath, because your mission in life is to be healing people. You're a healer. So you can't do your mission in life if you're not grounded and you don't have your emotions regulated. It's like the heat gauge in the car with the empath. Your emotions are what is gauging the heat in your car. Like when you feel your body start heating up because of an emotion, that's your tell that that's where the blockage is at, or whatever. So for us, like, let's say for instance someone came at us and we're trying not to give an emotional response. We're trying really hard, but we just succumb to the spiritual warfare and go off on somebody. Now, what we would do next is this. We would go someplace and we would sit with those feelings and we would start picking apart, why did this happen? Why was I not able to control myself? What about this interaction made us give up our will and react to someone else's behaviors? And we would go in our mind to that situation and we would play it in our memory, and then we would start manipulating the memory to where we would think out the action, like, okay, I could have handled it this way or I could have handled it that way, and we would pick the best outcome that would be the best result for us, and we would replace the memory and rewrite it with the outcome that we wanted to happen. And we would play that over in our head as if it was the memory that we originally encountered from the situation we originally encountered. That way, the next time a situation like that occurs, the last memory that we're thinking is the one that we made the right decision, because we're always trying to evolve, right? And the best way to do that is to play the situation out and have the memory be the way you want it to be. Because if you don't stop it in the mind first, then it'll just keep playing out in the physical. So that's how we were able to start to balance the empathy along with the grounding stuff. Now, what happens is when you start grounding, all these entities are going to come and try to get you to react. Like, it's going to be in every direction, or like something will come up to where you forget your ritual, or you are in a position where you don't have the time, or it's going to be everything and anything. It's like feast or famine. As soon as you try to start protecting your energy and being sovereign, the darkness is coming for you. Because whether you realize it or not, if you're an empath and you're not grounding on a daily basis, you're a black hole. And you're not doing any healing work. You're really siphoning energy off of other people, because that's why you have all those feelings all around you, and you can't focus, you can't relax, because you're siphoning off of other people. That's what you're doing. That's false flame. So just know that when you're an empath, that number one, you're giving your rank over to the darkness. You're submitting your rank to the darkness, and you're not a healer at that point. If you're not grounding every day and doing stuff to protect your energy, you're not a healer. You're an energy parasite as an empath. So once we would get, you're going to get through the spiritual warfare, and then you're going to feel like a completely different person. And what's going to happen is God is going to start sending you like more realistic people that need help, like that you can help without exchanging as much energy with. It's a more clean exchange that happens. And also what will happen is you'll start getting like upgrades, and you'll start getting downloads and stuff. And you'll start having your life work revealed to you on a deeper level, because it's not contaminated with other people's information. Because if you have other information of other people coming in on your energy, you can be perceiving their stuff as yours. We don't want this. We want to stay far away from this as possible. So eventually what's going to happen is this. You're going to end up with a test that is going to be like debilitating. Okay? It's going to be like a debilitating test. You're going to think, oh my gosh, I was on the right path. I was following my intuition. I was doing everything. It's part of the algorithm, okay? It's part of the algorithm. You're going to end up with this narcissist who, like, does a number on you, okay? And that's where you're going to become the dark empath, okay? And you're going to start picking apart your own tricks that you convinced yourself of, that you had to deconstruct as you're coming out of being an empath, because, or coming, grounding into being an empath, let me say, okay? Because when you start grounding into being an empath, you're going to start realizing, like, oh my God, I was doing this, I was doing that. Like, you might have like a feeling that it's not, something's not aligned, or the work is not, doesn't have as much power or effect as it should. Like, and once you start grounding into the empath, all these things are going to be revealed to you. Oh, I was doing this, I was stepping lines here, I was letting people step lines here. Like, it's going to all make sense to you. Now, this is where you're going to sort of like start charting the narcissist, because it's like, it's, if you're an empath and you're not grounding and stuff, it's sort of in the same area of like the narcissist, sort of, when in regards to the way that they're siphoning energy, we'll say. But they're, an empath might not be doing it on as heavy of a level as some of these other ones. It varies in rank or it's like a spectrum. It's like a spectrum. The healing journey is like a spectrum, right? Like, we're going through a spectrum. So you're not so much assessing the things in other people, but you could be. But the good stuff is the stuff that you know in your own self as you're coming out, the things that you're having revealed to you in the actions that you're portraying in life. That's the really good stuff that you're going to want to use for the dark empath. And these are all things usually that an empath will allow in their life, and but not realize, like, they're in karmic loops, okay? They're looping. Some of the things are looping, but when you figure out where the loop is, that is the key to battling the narcissist. The thing in yourself is the key, because it'll shift the way that you're perceiving them, because you're trying to perceive them as yourself. It's the opposite. It's a mirror of the things that you're not healing in yourself. And then once you get all of the tricks of the narcissist, or all of the patterns that they display based off of the stuff that you've had revealing in your own self, that's when you're like the Sigma INFJ, and you're just like going around and you're just snatching masks left and right, and is all just archetypes and ranks of archetypes. And it's like, evolution, whatever. And as you're on, the empath is like one of the best ones. We love to operate is mainly in the Sigma INFJ. That's like our most comfortable. That's like a super high ranking. Like, that's like the empath. The empath is, they're like, that's where it's at. That's where the money's at. Because we're here to heal the planet. So We need our empaths. We need our empaths to be strong in their sovereignty, to be able to do this work and help people. And the more that we work on ourselves, the more we're elevating everybody else. And especially in the realm of the empath is needed right now. Needed. We have to be sovereign. We have to ground every day. It's so important. And so as you build yourself up in the empath, you're going to build and rank. And those ones are like the high ranking empaths. They're like, you don't want to mess with those ones. They're so dangerous. They're like the healer is the most dangerous. The healer is the one that brings healing and destruction. They're the same entity on different polarities. If you're an empath, you're like winning in life. You've got gifts like that. That's like a high honor of gifts that you can have bestowed upon you, and we need them, like we said already. So that's the best I can get into the empath. I hope that was helpful.